buying a projector isn't like buying a TV. Your room matters more, placement matters more, and the best choice depends on how dark you can get the space and how far you can place the projector from the screen. I'm Marco from RTINGS.com, and in this video, we're walking through the best home theater projectors we've tested, and more importantly, why each one makes sense for a specific kind of setup. And if you want more projector content from us, you know what to do. We've bought and tested more than 75 projectors so far, and this is just the start of covering them on the channel. Also, keep in mind that most of the projectors on this list share a similar modern feature baseline. You're generally getting a built-in smart platform or streaming support, HDR format support, and the usual quality of life setup tools like autofocus and some form of automatic keystone or image alignment. And if you're using a soundbar or receiver, you'll usually have an HDMI ARC or eARC connection option to pass audio through cleanly. So we won't rehash that here, and we're mostly going to focus on image quality. Alright, let's get into it. If you care most about a home theater image that looks cinematic in dark scenes, the Valerian Vision Master Max is the top pick, and it comes down to its excellent contrast. Blacks look deep not only in very dark scenes, but also in mixed scenes where bright elements sit right next to shadow detail. Plus, most projectors offers dynamic contrast modes that either do very little or they introduce distracting brightness shifts that make the image feel unstable. Valerian's implementation is genuinely effective, so turning it on can give you deeper blacks and better perceived depth without turning the whole image into a processing demo. It's one of the rare cases where a dynamic contrast mode is worth trying instead of ignoring. You still get the rest of the premium package on top of that. It's bright enough for large screens, and it has very wide color gamut, so HDR content can look richly saturated instead of thin. Out of the box, it's already solid in its more accurate modes, and it calibrates well if you want to get closer to reference. Overall, if you're looking for maximum impact when watching movies in a blacked out room, go with the Valerian. If you're a home theater enthusiast with a fully dark room and you're chasing the most cinematic black levels you can get, the Vision Master Max earns its top spot. But if you want something that works well in more rooms with less effort, consider the cheaper XGIMI Horizon 20 Max instead. This projector gets way brighter than the Valerian, and that changes how easy it is to live with. You can run a larger image than you can on the Valerian without it looking dull. You've got more flexibility with screen materials, and you're not punished as hard if your room isn't perfectly blacked out. If you want a projector that can still look strong in a more typical living room setup, this is a huge advantage. What makes the 20 Max special is that it isn't just bright. It also has excellent contrast, so movies still have satisfying depth. Still, when the room is truly blacked out and your eyes adapt, the Valerian's contrast advantage can come through more clearly, and its dynamic contrast processing can push that cinematic effect further. The trade-off is cost. You're paying a premium for that last bit of darkroom performance. So, if your room isn't blacked out, go with the XGIMI. A quick aside, if you want something very similar, but cheaper, the XGIMI Horizon 20 and 20 Pro are worth considering. They have the same overall feature set as the 20 Max, but with a dimmer image, so it's a step down in vibrancy with ambient light. But in a fully blacked out room, they can look just as good as their more expensive sibling at a lower price. If the Horizon 20 line is more than you want to spend, the XGIMI Horizon S Max is our mid-range pick, as it keeps the core home theater experience intact. Even if you're stepping down in price, this isn't a dim projector. The Horizon S Max is still quite bright for its class, but it's clearly a step down from the Horizon 20s above it. That's why it's at its best once you dim the lights, especially if you're aiming for a more cinematic image. Contrast is a big part of why it works so well for movies too, but make sure the iris setting is enabled since its contrast is lower otherwise. It also has a wide color gamut and is very accurate right out of the box. If you want something that still feels like a proper home theater projector, but you're trying to spend less than the flagship, the Horizon S Max is the move. Now, we're getting into the budget part of the price curve, and this is where the Hisense M2 Pro comes in. It's for you if you want something cheaper than the XGIMI Horizon S Max, but you still want a projector that can look great in a dim or fully dark room. The M2 Pro uses a triple laser light source, and like our previous picks, it has pixel shifted 4K, a very wide color gamut, and strong accuracy out of the box. We sense a pattern here. Still, here's the main difference. This unit is noticeably dimmer. That's a key expectation to set, but in a fully dark space, it delivers a punchy picture with good depth. For many people, that's just what they need. Overall, it feels like a step towards a more premium home theater experience without the premium price. You're paying for that cleaner laser look, higher perceived detail, and stronger color compared to a lot of cheaper lamp-based projectors. If you're spending the least money possible and you mostly watch with the lights off, the Nexago PJ40 is our cheap pick. And it's here for one very specific reason: contrast per dollar. This is one of those classic projector trade-offs. The PJ40 is dim, and that's a limitation, but that lower light output also keeps its black floor down. The result is that in a fully dark room, it delivers excellent contrast for the money. The downside is the rest of the image. Brightness is subpar, so it struggles in room with even just one small light on. Its color gamut is limited, so colors can look muted. And out of the box, color accuracy is poor, so if you care about a natural looking picture, you should plan on doing a quick calibration. It also is the only 1080p projector on the list, so it doesn't look quite as sharp. If your goal is the best cheap darkroom movie night experience, this is the pick. If you plan on watching with the lights on, or you just want a brighter and more colorful projector, you're gonna have to move up the price curve. Projectors are finally at a point where you can choose based on how you watch, and not just how big you can go. If you're building a dedicated darkroom setup, contrast becomes the real differentiator. But if you're watching in a more typical living room space, brightness and flexibility tends to matter more. We hope you enjoyed this video. Would you like to see more projector content in the future? Sound off in the comments if you do, as we're considering making a lot more of these videos. And if you have any other questions, our staff and community are on Discord too. Come check us out.